Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. A book by Simon Aykroyd is new. It has just been published, and it is about raised bed gardening, how to grow more in less space. Now, this is becoming more and more important, and as our properties are getting smaller, our demand for local and fresh vegetables and fruit are getting higher. It's becoming more and more important that we utilize the land that we do have more effectively. So this book will play an important role for you if that is your situation. Now, it is published by Taunton Press, and it is an excellent book in the fact that it's pictures and also diagrams on how to build composters, raised beds, everything you need to sort of get the most out of your space. This also means crop rotation as well. Now, with this, you're going to be looking at why raised beds. Well, raised beds have always been used for accessibility, whether it's for people who may be in a wheelchair or just having a hard time kneeling or getting up and down, etc. Then these beds work much better. But it's also great for children. So get your children involved in these beds. Now, the other thing is that they can thin carrots and they can eat the little tiny tumbling Tom tomatoes out of here and really enjoy themselves. And you can feel confident that they're doing a good job. Why? Because when you have a raised bed, you have total control over the mixture of soil in the bed, moisture content as well, and of course what you're actually growing. So you can rotate all the way through. You can check the fertilizers and be more accurate for the fertilizer for each different crop rotation. So a little soil testing, and you can find out that where you are growing, let's say, a root crop is now going to be a good place to grow a leafy crop, and you may have to modify the soil in order to achieve good leafy crop after a root crop. They use two different types of fertilizers, and so you can get more out of the same space by just doing a little bit of work. With the composters are always going to be your source for regenerative soil for the beds. The soil in this bed are going to be very intense. They're going to be heavily used, and they need to be reinvigorated. And how do you reinvigorate a garden soil? You add organic matter, and the organic matter in this case would be compost. Now remember, finished compost smells earthy, and it doesn't stink. So that's what you're looking for. If it stinks, it's too wet, or it's, just not even broken down yet into basically crumbly soil. So all of these taken into consideration will allow you to actually go and get more out of the same space. You can vertical garden in a raised bed by using a slat wall. You can go and actually do ones that are angled so that the vines at the bottom grow up. This is a great way of growing the long Japanese or English cucumbers, but I've also seen cantaloupes done this way as well. So those are always good ideas, and it utilizes more space to produce even more. In other words, you're not really laying out, these vines are not taking up massive amounts of room horizontally, right? So you've got these, you can do these, you can work it all out and actually achieve great things that are fresh and ready to eat. This beds are going to be, in most cases, the soil is going to be amended from at least the original soil up. I always amend the original soil first and then just start using the very high-end soil on top. The reason for this, it's a transition layer for fertilizer, food, oxygen, etc. In other words, the good carbon cycle. And, of course, a healthy soil means healthy plants and a healthier environment. You want to be able to grow what your family needs and wants. Now, whether this is gourmet vegetables, whether it's edible flowers, they should be worked in through here. Now, this book doesn't really cover edible flowers, but it's easy enough to do and easy enough to pick up a book about it. I'd like to say that you can actually go and incorporate a raised bed with garden ponds, with fish, etc., if that's what you wish. And that's more of a landscape or an aesthetic that you're going to be doing in that particular case. So I would recommend this book because, one, it does a lot of things step by step. Two, it gives you pictures of exactly what it's supposed to look like. It does also give you the upside and downsides of using different types of material. Whether it's a natural material like twigs or wicker or metal, then it's covered in this book. The book, again, is called Raised Bed Gardening, How to Grow More in Less Space by Simon Aykroyd, and it's published by Taunton Press. I really like this one simply because it even covers cold frames, which I consider basically passé because nobody really has cold frames anymore. I shouldn't say nobody, but most people don't. But they allow you to actually build things up. You tell you how to do pallets, like wooden pallets as a composter and things like that. So all of this is in the book, Raised Bed Gardening from Taunton Press. Oh, don't forget How to Grow More in Less Space by Simon Aykroyd. And it is an excellent book. Please pick this up and enjoy. And of course, I know your family will as well. I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.